Hi there. My name is Mark Lemke, and I am a spiritually independent thinker and writer whose material comes from the conscious mind and not from existing books or existing beliefs. I have a blog called Creative Thinking at marklemke.wordpress.com, and it features what I call a creation story. The creation story is my vision of how the universe was formed and how it functions. I broke down these topics in the creation story into three categories. They are astronomical category, functional structural category, and spiritual wisdom category. I'm currently focused on the astronomical category of the story. Now, this is my third and final video of the astronomical category. I'll be talking about the snowball theory in this video. And that is how the Earth was formed. And actually, it includes where all the water came from. Now, I have watched the Science Channel's version of how the Earth was formed, and it shows the newly forming Earth being pummeled by space debris over and over and over again. This continuous pummeling caused the forming Earth to heat up, and what it shows is this planet as a glowing red hot ball. Okay, fine. But at some point, the Earth cools down and becomes, well, what we see today. The question is, if it was a red hot ball, where did the water come from? In my opinion, I have not heard a credible and believable explanation to that question. So, what's the difference between the snowball theory and the Science Channel's version of how the Earth was formed? Well, in the snowball theory, the Earth was formed around the same time as fusion started in our star. In other words, it was formed in the cold and in the dark before light and conductive heat arrived at our planet. I'm going to read the snowball theory section in my creation story. And it's only 3 paragraphs long, seriously, 3 paragraphs long. It takes about 4 to 5 minutes to read. And, that's not long at all. So this is it. This is our solar system, the snowball theory. In a local star-forming nebula, a liquid gas sphere was formed by swirling winds. As ancient space debris from previous, supernovas, consisting of dust, rock, metals, ice, and gases, began to orbit around this heavy liquid gas sphere. The larger pieces orbiting around began to collect smaller pieces of space debris, like a giant snowball rolling down a steep mountain slope. The snowballs began to increase in size. I call this chain of events the snowball theory for obvious reasons. To be clear, in this theory, the sun and the beginning of our planets formed approximately the same time. So eventually, the enormous pressure in the liquid gas sphere started a fusion process. A new star was born, and we were calling this star our sun. Gradually, the new blue star began to build up conductive heat within the inner orbit. Our sun's heat began to melt the ice in the snowballs that were orbiting around it. One of the snowballs, we're calling the future Earth, had collected a large amount of ice during that time it had spent orbiting around our developing sun. With solar conductive heat now arriving from our sun, the rock and heavy matter began to sink, forming what became the Earth's solid molten core. As the heavy matter sank, the melting water would have just risen to the surface, creating a planet mostly covered with water. Now, the Earth had the right conditions for evolution. Atoms form molecules, molecules form cells, cells form simple creatures, and the simple creatures begin to grow more and more and more complex. Over time, the sea creatures began to grow. At the same time the sea creatures began to grow, tectonic plates in the Earth's crust began to move around, and it created land. In time, the rock was weathered by rain and such, and it broke down into soil. Now, vegetation and life evolved in these newly developed lands. Sea creatures formed legs and left the water. Over millions and millions of years, life forms began to become more and more complex and diverse. Now, the Earth was covered with lush green forests and jungles. Large and small mammals began to populate the Earth, and the rest is, evidential history. So, and that is the end of the Snowball Theory in my story. So that's the Snowball Theory in 5 easy minutes. If you can believe that. All the theories of my creation story just make sense to me. Just imagine common sense in a world that, in my opinion, lacks common sense. How refreshing is that? Well, that's all I got for you today. That concludes the astronomical category of my creation story. Next, I'll be reading and talking about the structural functional category. In this category, I call this the universe's spectrum of density theory. Now, this is a new way to think about how the universe functions and how it's structured. The spectrum of density theory talks about the physical universe, the universe that we see, and it also talks about the non-physical universe that is the universe we cannot see. So I'm going to talk about that in the next video that will be coming up in the next few weeks, and maybe, just maybe, I'll see you then too. Have a nice day, and I'll talk to you later.